Call to order Tuesday, February 14th, 2012, the Transportation Committee meeting. Start out by a roll call. Councilwoman Terry Casso and Councilman Brian Malonzo are absent. Mr. Clout, would you lead us in the invocation followed by the pledge?
Would everybody please stand for the invocation? In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Lord, we thank you for this day. Thank you for this beautiful weather we're having today. Lord, take care of Ascension Parish through the springtime and take us into the hurricane season safely and through that. Lord, we want to thank and also keep in mind the Shake Snyder family for the loss of Councilman Kent Shake Snyder's mother, Miss Barbara, and keep those folks within your prayers. One special intention, we'd like for everybody to have a happy Valentine's Day today. We ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Anyone wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign in with Ms. Liz. Move on to number 4, Road Department report for January. Mr. Ronnie Fairchild.
For the month of January, our crews completed 224 work orders. We cleaned 9,793 feet of roadside ditches. We vacuumed 1,750 feet of culverts. And also a little note, our new vacuum truck is in service. We will take our old truck and send it to DPW West. Normally we would send a truck over there every Monday, so this gives him a truck for his use at all times. State and grass cutting crews, we will start in March, start their rotation, start spraying and cutting. Since the first year, we've had 4 lot violations in subdivisions. 2 have been cut by the property owners, and we have 2 pending. We have 4 pending fire hydrant violations. Should be taken care of by the residents. Also on May the 12th is our household hazardous collection day at Lamar Dixon. If you're aware of that, it's a good day. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Fairchild? Mr. Clout?
Yeah, Ronnie, on the corner of Highway 935, Stringer Bridge and Beco, we talked about in the last quarter of last year about cleaning that ditch out going down Beco to let that water drain. And I think there was a work order in. And
Okay, that's Beco down from Beco going east.
right.
I'll check with Mr. Sanchez, see if he's had anything, and see how long it will take before they could do it. If possible, we'll do it ourselves.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions on the monthly report? If not, we'll move on to number 5, road project status update. Ben?
On the Roddy Road widening project, we're still coordinating with the utilities down to the last 2, the city water line and Atmos. We're still trying to get those 2 taken care of, and then we can finally move forward on getting that construction contract out for bid. The intersection improvement program, it's a separate agenda item, but we have a balancing change order. All work is completed on that. Cannon Road drainage improvements. This is for the section from Black Bayou west for about 800 feet on the north side of the road. The notice to proceed for that project was issued for yesterday. It's about 6 to 8 weeks of construction, so should start seeing some activity out there and should be done with it fairly quickly. Church Point at Roddy Roundabout, DOTD has approved the feasibility study, and we are now preparing an RFQ for the engineering design. We have a $500,000 safety grant for that intersection for construction funds. 2011 maintenance project is nearing completion, ahead of schedule. We're only awaiting paving of Woodland Avenue, the last one, and then there's some shoulder work and striping and some incidental stuff to be taken care of. We have change order number 2 as a separate agenda item coming up on that project. The 2012 maintenance project, I have a preliminary road list that we prepared in accordance with the unitary plan. We'll talk about that in a minute. Pavement preservation program. IT department is finalizing some software upgrades with our GIS system that's going to work with our asset management software. And this will hopefully be the foundation for us getting a robust pavement preservation program in effect that'll help save money in the future. Unitary plan road rating system recommendation. This is a tweak to the unitary plan that I've got some supporting documentation for in the packet, and we're going to talk. That's a separate agenda item. I want to talk to you about that to kind of see if we can get the ball rolling on making those changes. State projects, the US 61 overlay. This is from 22 to 74. Yesterday was the notice to proceed for that project. They're anticipating completion in October of this year. 431 Roundabout, the project start date is March 13th. There was a public meeting last night with some information on that project in Port Vincent. There was a pretty good turnout. They had some plans for people to look at, and they had some DOTD guys on hand to answer questions. 431 intersection improvements, the anticipated letting date for that is June 12th, and we are still working on the sewer fix for there's a couple of houses that discharge into the Stringer Bridge ditch that's going to be eliminated by the turn lane onto 431. 42 widening project right-of-way acquisitions are currently underway. 73 widening from I-10 to Airline Highway. Clearing is complete. The detour bridge is being constructed at the fire station, and right now the contractor is working with DOTD and the parish to possibly relocate the sewer to the side of the roadway as part of his construction scheduling to kind of help expedite his end of the project. 431 Gold Place turn lane. The scope has been revised and approved by the MPO and DOTD to include turn lanes on 431, and DOTD is expected to advertise that either this month or next month. But they're also looking at an alternative about whether or not they can include it in their retainer contract that they have. They have a design firm on hand, so that would expedite the design of that project a lot. So we're waiting to hear back on that from them. I-10 cable barrier construction in Ascension Parish is expected to begin in 1 to 2 months. 74 Bluff Road turn lane, that one's 100% complete now. 22 from 44 to 942. This project includes patch and overlaying of the road at some of the and some drainage improvements in some areas that need a little cleaning up. It is scheduled to be let in May of this year. And 61 access management at 42. That project is scheduled to be let in March. And with that, have any questions?
Very busy, Ben. Any questions for Ben on the update report? Anything, Terry? Liz, let it know Miss Terry's in. Now, we'll move on to number 6, approval of change order number 1. Ben?
Yeah, we have an change order, balance and change order for this project. Like I said, all work's complete. It increased the project cost by $7,311. The documentation is in there. It supports that. There were some additional asphalt depth areas that they had to do, which accounted for some of the increase, and the parish also increased the height of an old fence that was replaced as part of the project, and then those two factor to the $7,311 increase. Asking for your approval.
Any question or comments?
You said that's the $7,300 increase?
Correct. The original contract amount was $199,444. This brings it up to $206,755.
And that's based on the quantities change, basically.
Correct.
I'll move that to the council.
Moved by Councilman Kluwat,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Casso. Discussion? None. Motion passed. All right, we'll go to number 7. That's another approval of change order number 2.
This is for the 2011 road package. This one's a little bit bigger. Change order number 2 increases the contract amount $231,539.62. This is adding the front half of Woodland is the lion's share of this. Woodland Avenue, we'd broken up into 2 parts when we originally bid the project because we were concerned that the funds were not going to be there. The bid came in for the overall project well under what we anticipated. And since we had originally wanted to have all of Woodland in there, and it made sense, the whole road needed to be repaired. We would like to change order this in there. The front half was further deteriorated significantly by the construction traffic to get to the back half, so it further warranted repair at this time. And then there's some other change directives in there for a few minor changes, and occasionally when we're doing these constructions that we find base failures that weren't found whenever the inspections were done when we were doing the design, and that accounts for some of the other additions. But the project overall is still well under the original approved budget.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Casso. Any discussion? Just one discussion. Also, Ben, you want to give them a little more explanation? You had to remove a lot of concrete and stuff off of this.
Woodland Avenue was a concrete road, and so it's been on the list for a couple of years, and it always dropped off because it was a significant cost. This was the only one that we had in Council District 11, and it's I mean, the road was in bad need of repair. We also ran into some additional difficulties at the back half. There's a pipeline crossing, which brought in some other unexpected challenges that we had to navigate, but all of that's taken care of, and we're hoping to get the front half paved this week and be done with all that. But they'll have a nice new road there, and it's a highly populated road. There's a lot of people that live down there, and it'll be a good product in the end.
What's this look like on the budget?
For the project originally was budgeted $3.4 million. The bids came in at right at 2, like 198, 199. So now we're up to, I think, 2.2, 2.3. So we're still a long ways from what we originally expected the project to cost. And part of the reason it came in so much under bid is a lot of contractors sharpened their pencils. Work was tight, and we benefited. And so,
Good job, man. Any other discussion on this? Not, motion passed. Number 8, petition request, no parking. Mr. Fairchild?
Yes, we had a request for no parking signs on Tammy Road, and in your package is a petition to residents along there. They kept blocking the handicap bus where they couldn't get in to pick up the person.
So moved, Mr.
They
Chairman.
requested, and we have
Second.
no problem with it.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Kluwat. Discussion? None, motion passed. Number 9, update on the roads in the following developments. Ben?
these two developments, they were on the transportation agenda back in November or December. I was on jury duty, so I wasn't there for that meeting, but there's issues with both of them, and I'll go at them separately because I think there's a speaker on the Keystone one. But Parisian Villas never had a bond posted for that road. We never received the bond to start the 1-year waiting period. The inspectors continue to keep an eye on it, and there are some premature failures in that subdivision. I have a list here today, and it didn't make it into the packet, and I could read those out to you. Or I mean, there's some failures that we wouldn't expect to see in the first year of a new road's life.
Ben, real quick, what's the deal with the bond?
It was never posted, so we never received a maintenance bond.
And what's the reason for that?
It was never submitted by the developer.
Okay.
So
So really, that could be a private road instead of a public road?
It is, because our process requires.
Yeah.
Because they didn't go through the procedure, so,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, we notified them that at the time we would normally have expected to receive
Okay.
it when the final plat was approved, that, hey, we're not going to start the clock until we receive the bond.
Good.
We've never received the bond, so that 1-year period. But we would like, if a bond is going to ultimately be posted for this, to have these items, and we'll send a letter to the developer with these items that we've noted. They should be repaired before the bond is posted, because we want to make sure that the repairs hold up for the 1 year, and protect the parish from any unnecessary cost.
Any other
I
questions on
guess did they have core samples and everything done on that road?
We did, and that's part of the issue, that the asphalt thickness
Okay.
on some of the cores wasn't what was specified. So there's some concerns, and we'll send a letter to the developer
that's all
outlining
part of
all
it.
of those items.
Okay.
This is just basically an update. You're not asking for any action.
Right, I
now.
just wanted to keep you all in the loop on these two projects because they're,
Because I remember when we declined,
Right.
when this came in front of us.
Ben, before you get to B, I have a speak on it. Derek Murphy on 9B.
I'd like to hear what Mr. Laurie has to say, and then I'd like to speak, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
okay. Similar to Parisian, there's some premature failures in this development. This one was bonded, like it should have been. The bond is up in June of this year, but we've noted the failures, and we want to make the developer aware of them at this time because they should be repaired. The recommendation from the engineering department would be that it be rebonded for another year because of all the significant failures throughout the development. So before it would be taken into the parish maintenance system, we want to see it stand up for at least a year, and so that's kind of where we are on that. We have a punch list of failures that we will forward to the developer.
You need some movement on that tonight?
Really just an update
Okay.
to kind of tell you where we are.
And I guess, yes,
Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
one question, and we've been having this a lot with some developments that's behind, phases of road construction. Are we looking at something to maybe strengthen that up, maybe go like, put more bond on it until at least 75% of the subdivision is developed?
Right.
Because, a lot of the construction trucks and cement trucks are what's tearing the roads up on the second and third phases of the subdivisions, and
Yeah,
I
the
think we
parish,
need to maybe strengthen our,
the parish president has us working on a draft ordinance to
Okay.
present to you guys that would require a certain percentage of the development be built
Good.
out prior to even considering acceptance.
good.
We're trying to make sure that it meshes well with the existing code because there's a lot of parts out there that we don't want to conflict with. So it's taken a little longer than we'd like it to, but we want to make sure that what we present doesn't create
Okay.
issues in other areas.
Thank
So.
you. That's all I got.
Okay, Mr. Murphy.
Good afternoon. Derek Murphy with Quality Engineering and Surveying, representing Keystone and Galvez LLC, the owner for Keystone and Galvez. Just wanted to give y'all an update about what we're doing, especially in the third filing, and I know there has some past issues in the second filing. And with the third filing, we were notified by staff 2 or 3 weeks ago that there were some deficiencies out there, and where we met with staff of Ascension Parish and the engineering department, and kind of went through those with them. And in lieu of what's been happening, we went on. The developer decided to go ahead and do some soil borings in the road, in the lots, behind the back curb, a lot of different areas, and just kind of to figure out what's going on, and kind of was proactive. We should have it as a result probably this week, if not early next week, get a report about some corrective actions for the road, problems, their opinion of the problem, what's it doing and why is it doing it, and things like that. So we went on and did that. We're waiting for those results. As soon as we get those, we're going to get with Ben and kind of go through them and see if he agrees and try to get on the same page. We are, at that time, we were kind of waiting for a letter to come from the parish to the contractor where we can kind of note those deficiencies to them and let them start working on some corrective actions. They had some other things besides the road. They had some drainage issues that they would like to see addressed and some different things, and want to go ahead and get those to the contractor and let him start putting some together to stop some infiltration, some boxes and things. Just to kind of, the other thing we did because of some of the issues, just to let y'all know, of course there's going to be more filings in the Keystone, so what we did was we went on and did a soil test borings and so forth on a future filing, just to kind of see what that filing is, if the soils are the same as the third filing, and ask them to recommend maybe a new pavement section that we can go to engineering with and show them maybe some changes that we need to do in the pavement section for maybe just those type of soil types to stop some of this issues from happening again. And the developer is very proactive to making sure that happens, trying to protect the parish and the residents that would come in there. I know on the second filing was up before this committee before. I just received from the contractor, we've been waiting on a soils report from those guys. The parish already has a soils report. I just received it this afternoon, so I'm gonna get with Ben after this meeting and kind of go over that soils report with him. I haven't even read it yet, to be honest. I just got it on the way over here, and I got some copies. So, just kind of want to give y'all an update about what we were doing to look at some of the issues out there and what we're trying to do in order to correct what's there, but also stop any more from happening in the future. Y'all have any questions? I'll be happy to.
Any questions on the update?
Thank y'all for your time.
Is this basically the complete punch list?
Ben, is there an addition to this punch list, or is it,
Well,
That's
there's
in our package.
a separate punch list that hasn't been typed up yet for Parisian.
okay,
And we can forward that to you once we get it typed up, if you'd like. And we'll formalize that and send it on to the developer to kind of formalize this process.
But is this the complete one for Keystone?
For the third filing,
Third
yes.
filing. Right.
okay. If no other discussion on that, we'll move to number 10, update. That's assistant with MPO. Go ahead, Ben.
This is a project that's going, well, the selection committee for this RFQ is this Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to the council Thursday, 6 o'clock that evening. There's a very abbreviated timeline on this. It's for a project call from the MPO for STP greater than 200K funding, which is a certain funding category that the MPO has discretion at programming projects in. And we're developing a list. The idea is to select several, or 2, 3 consultants to get the multiple project submissions in for consideration to get projects programmed into that funding category. And I just wanted to kind of let you guys know what was going on, since it was on the abbreviated time schedule and is going directly to the council. But wanted to make you aware of what we were doing. The majority of the projects that we're going to submit for are system preservation projects. That's the funding that is being encouraged by the MPO for this project, because they don't require right of way, they don't require environmental studies and all that, and they can get in quickly. And certainly we have a number of state roads, and this funding is limited to state or roads that are eligible for state and federal funding. So it's not any road in the parish, but it's Highway 30, 44, some of the larger roads, and so we're putting in for maintenance work for those roads, overlays, base repairs, crack sealing, that sort of stuff to kind of maintain these roads and get a little more life out of them.
So Thursday night, you're gonna be sending us 3 or 4 of these in line, after y'all do y'all. Move on. Okay.
Past President.
These are not big projects. What's the average on those, Ben?
I would expect the average to range in the $300,000 to $400,000 range.
And as far as the contracts to do the stage 0,
Well, the stage zeros would come later. For the system preservation, the stage 0 doesn't really amount to much. It's basically a spreadsheet, so that process is, again, greatly abbreviated by not having the right-of-way environmental and other impacts of that nature.
Okay.
So,
but when you say you're going to pick 3 or 4 of these,
3 or 4 consultants to help submit a number of these projects.
and how much is it going to cost to get everything ready to submit, I guess is my question to you.
Well, we budgeted $100,000 for submitting multiple projects. We're looking to program out for 3 years into that fund. So we want to get projects lined out for the next several years. And so by getting them in now, they're in the program, and then as the funding comes along each subsequent year, we'll have projects ready to go.
And you've heard in the past the shovel-ready
Yeah.
type deal. Basically what we're doing here is saying, okay, another pot of money comes down the hatch here. We're going to be ready. We'll have all our projects ready to go. That way we can compete with other parishes in the area for these funds, and ours will be actually shovel-ready. That's what we're trying to do.
Good.
Do you, and don't you got 2 pots of money, the over the 200, under?
Well, this is for the STP greater than 200K, which is MPO areas with a greater than 200,000 population. The STP grade, less than 200K is for basically the rest of the state that's not in one of the MPO bubbles. So,
Ms. Terry?
Ben, I just want to commend the staff. In meetings that I have had the pleasure to attend associated with the MPO in the past several months, what I have heard more than once is we needed to be ready, have things in the pipeline, in the queue, ready to go. And so I applaud you for having
thank you.
done
We're
that.
trying to get some stuff on the shelves to pull off whenever we have opportunities.
Thank you.
Todd, you had anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, number 11, report on the unitary plan. Ben?
The unitary plan is the system that the parish adopts to prioritize its road maintenance funds. And the existing unitary plan includes a road rating system, which is archaic, cryptic, kind of hard to apply uniformly across all the roads in the parish. The Asphalt Institute has a simpler, more straightforward rating system that I would like to replace with the one we currently have. And it's included in your packet. It's just another methodology which has a little more well-defined parameters that can be, rated and given a score. It results in a rating for every road, and then we can say these are the worst roads and these roads aren't as bad, and using that, then we can figure out where to best apply our funds. And this works hand in hand with the pavement preservation program we're trying to get started, because instead of just rebuilding roads once they get to the point where they're falling apart, if we do some maintenance and preservation before that point, we can get additional life, and then we're not spending quite the dollar amount per foot on these roads, and extend our budget that way. And also included in your packet is the score sheet, or the form that the inspector takes out with him whenever he goes to rate the roads. You can see it's a one-sheet form, and he does that for every road. And over time, as roads get re-inspected, we can detect trends and see how bad or how quickly a road is deteriorating, which can help us make better decisions on when funding needs to be applied to maintain that road. And then the last sheet in the packet is a list of the roads that have fallen off of previous year's lists, and a number of other roads that have had numerous calls on. The inspector went out, rated all of those roads, and you can see there, I think it's about 49 roads, and their scores range from 0 being as bad as it can get and 100 being perfect. We have roads from 9 to 75 is the score range on the ones we looked at. The idea would be to take this and start developing the 2012 road maintenance package. Because we don't have the pavement preservation system really up and running, the funds at this point would still be dedicated, like in the past, to doing the major rehabilitation that we typically have done. But hopefully by the second half of this year, we'll have that pavement preservation program humming along, and then we can figure out how to best apply the available budget to the various activities that we should be doing to maintain our road network.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Todd Lemon?
So Ben, you say in the list that we have in front of us, in y'all rating is the worst roads out there right now?
Oh, sorry. Could you repeat that?
The ratings that you have in front of us, is that the worst roads that we have in the parish? Because I know I've give you a couple that was higher priorities than
Not
these.
necessarily. These
Okay.
are these are in the order in which the rating.
I know, so you
came.
want to work them off
there-
these roads with the 12.
If there are
There's
additional
a couple
roads,
in here that's not in here that I know for
Right.
sure.
if there's additional roads that you would like us, we haven't had time to go inspect every road,
I've
and that's
already called and talked to you and maybe Ronnie
Okay.
on a couple of them that for sure needs to be looked at.
Okay,
That
well-
got overlooked the last few.
well. We'll
go-rounds.
inspect those, and then they'll fall somewhere in this rating. And the idea would be the unitary plan that the council adopts is this is the system that we're going to use to prioritize. So we're trying to apply it scientifically and kind of.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Martinez.
Basically, by law, every parish for the new councilman has to adopt a unitary plan. And basically, what you have to do is go by priorities. You just can't go on a political basis, and
I
a
agree
lot of
with you.
parishes get in trouble by doing that. So we have to have a system in place where we prioritize our roads from worst to best, and we do participate in the parish transportation fund, which each parish is allotted X amount of dollars every year, but they have to make sure that their plan is up to date. So this is something that we do on a yearly basis, and to make sure that we eligible and we're also following all the rules. A lot of parishes in the past have gotten into a lot of trouble by not having this in place.
And I think, also what we can look at is, number of accidents, the complaints, and different things that are coming in. So a lot of this, we can review this and, everyone get together and get with Ben and Ronnie and let's get a list to them and, some of the number ones that we need to really look at. Any other discussion on the unitary plan? Mr. Clowat?
Yeah, just to re-explain this, this spreadsheet we got on the roads is based on this point system.
Right, the Asphalt Pavement Institute's rating
Right.
system, which is a much simpler format than the one that we've traditionally used, and it allows us to be much more uniform in the application of the
And
rating.
it's all a basic visual inspection.
Right. Windshield, they get out and walk a little bit of the road in the process, but it's a fairly quick process, but it's a way to get all of our roads inspected and on the same page.
And this is
technically-
parish roads, right?
Right. Yeah. And every road's on our road maintenance list. It's just what's the order that they're in.
We're gonna get that this year. I heard he's cutting all that transportation fund, giving it to going to the deficit, the state.
Trying to make sure of that, Mr. President. All right, real quick, in the spreadsheet, in red, you've got red and brown.
Yeah. And there's a couple of greens down at the bottom, but the Pavement Institute kind of has a range, and the red are in the range that it recommends total reconstruction. The brown are what would normally receive preservation activities, crack sealing, chip sealing, thin overlay,
Yeah.
and then the green are technically sound. We can establish whatever those ranges we want. The parish needs to determine what level of road we're comfortable with and we want to target our system to have. But those are just kind of the stock answers that were in the Institute's documentation.
Mr. Melanson, you had anything on?
No.
Ms. Terry?
I'm good, thank you.
Ben, you had anything else on?
No, that's all I got.
Okay, Ben, we appreciate you bringing that. Mr. Ronnie Fairchild, you had anything? Good.
I did have one question.
Ms. Terry?
Ben, did I understand you to say that this is a change from a former rating system to a more?
Correct. The unitary plan has a rating system in it now. It's got myriad categories, and they're not well defined. And it's something that's worked in the past, but now moving towards having a comprehensive pavement preservation program, we need something that's streamlined, something that's uniform, that we can apply, consistently.
Does this require any kind of council action to change
well,
the plan you use?
Ideally, what I would like to do is come back to you next month with a formalized resolution for your recommendation to the council to amend the unitary plan with the revised Asphalt Institute thing. I wanted to introduce it to you first and kind of get your feelings. And
Because we slow. Gotcha. It's okay. We know we slow.
well, I mean, this is it's new stuff, but I think it's important, and I think the parish stands to benefit significantly from kind of getting this process ironed out a little bit. And it's worked in the past, but now that we're managing more roads and trying to apply our budget more efficiently and intelligently, then we could stand to tweak our system a little bit. I would.
Sure, makes sense. Thank you.
In closing, Parish President?
Oh, everything's good. We still basically working with DOTD, trying to get through and put together a plan to present to the public in the fall, and as we make progress, we want to bring all the progressions to you as a group, so everybody's in the loop and understanding which direction we're going in or trying to go in. So we'll keep you abreast here. It's the meetings that we do have. We've had a couple, but we've still negotiating with DOTD on some money factors and how much allocation there would be, and trying to put together a strong list of roads that we'll be able to identify that we want to move forward with the revenues that we do receive. In fact, if we do pass a tax. So.
Great. Okay, we're moving to number 12.
Motion adjourned, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Melanson. Adjourn.